Welcome to the Will to Power podcast. I am your host, Nick Vital. So today we have a slightly different podcast. So, there's different levels to struggle, right? There's different levels of politics, there's different levels of discourse. And this is a podcast that I'm adapting from something that I wrote for a website called Institute for Virtue Research. And this is a website I created more for a broader audience, right? It's more for a slightly more normie audience, but still definitely on the right. Its kind of goal is to be a lifestyle, culture, and politics journal for the new right. And it aims at a broader audience, but still a young audience, right? Students, academics, those sorts of things. So, this is for the broader audience. If you are interested in more of my schizo sort of writing, there's Bugman Revolt. I think the link is in the bottom. And then of course you have the Will to Power podcast, where I just kind of lay the truth on you, speak a little bit to the choir, but try to get the choir to move in a direction, move in unity, to act more like a fucking army and less like a faggot fucking choir. So let's begin. So this is 7 ways to help the new right win. So I'm going to read this and then go into it a little bit more. Number 1, make yourself better. Self-improvement simply isn't an option. It's a necessity. The ruling forces of the modern world want to keep you weak, dumb, dependent, and docile. This ensures that you're easy to control and not a threat. The way to solve this is simple. Work out, stay healthy, get rid of negative addictions, make money, develop skills, dress well, etc. Improving yourself is political in more than one way. Success is attractive. When respectable people speak, others listen, and are more likely to take the message to heart. By improving yourself in a demonstrable manner, you increase the credibility of your beliefs. Okay, so the first way to help the new right win is to simply be a good representative of the new right yourself, in your personal life, the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself. So this is saying that you need to develop yourself, right? You need to put in work. You need to become a person that people look up to. So that way, whenever you do drop little red pills, people actually listen, think about it, rather than dismiss you because you look like a fucking idiot. So, like it says, work out, go to the gym. If you're fat, do fast cardio. A better diet, less vegetable oil, less processed food. If you have addictions that aren't helping you, then get rid of them. Make more money, figure out an online hustle, something like that. Figure out a freelance work. Try to get income that's not dependent on saying yes to some chode. Same thing, develop useful skills, right? Skills that you can apply later in life, things that you can apply towards political struggle. Make yourself better, dress well. Very, very simple things. You should be doing this anyways, but again, this does have that political dimension where when you are somebody that people admire, somebody that people look up to, then they're more likely to take you serious, right? They're more likely to ponder what you say. They're more likely to put stock in it. So that's number 1. The second way to help the new right win: produce media. Stop being just a content consumer. Start being a creator. Start making podcasts, creating images and infographics, designing websites, or writing blog posts and essays. The stuff you create will probably be crude at first, but through practice and experience, you'll gain skill and help the movement grow. You can either create your own channel or platform, or you can submit your work to Institute for Virtue Research. So, this is telling you to actually make things that other people consume, right? Don't be the guy that's just fucking watching YouTube videos all day, or, only consuming content, or maybe, in the comments, don't be a fan, be a creator. There should be a general thing as well. But especially true with politics, right? We need people to put out different content, different types of content, different formats to add their own 2 cents to kind of amplify the message. And again, you can do this through your own platform. You can create a blog. You can start writing there. You can create a podcast like I've done. Or you can even message me, right? You can say, how do you do it? You can message other creators that you like. You can submit work to other websites. You can submit work to the websites that I run. So that's another way that you can help the new right win. Number 3 is to share media. If you don't have time to create right-wing media, you can help spread other people's content. Post links, images, quotes, and videos to different social media and online communities that you're part of. Better yet, create and manage social media accounts to promote new right ideas. Consider yourself a part-time online marketer and brand representative for a better future. So again, very simple. There's content out there, share it. Send it to a group chat if you like something in particular. Hey, check this out. Very, very simple thing to do, but it really does help, right? It gets views. And when content creators see those views coming in, it encourages them to make more content, right? But yeah, huge. Probably the easiest way to help the movement, right, is just to fucking hit share. So simple. Number 4, start a local organization or group. Now, this deserves its own sort of podcast, but you should not underestimate the power of local organizing. Now, this works best if it's around a specific interest or issue, or if it's geared around activities. This leaves a lot of room for adaptation to different circumstances and demographics as well. Examples might include student groups, formal or informal parent organizations, mutual aid and charity groups, study groups, masterminds and development circles, activist cells, sports clubs, etc. Okay, so this is telling you to do something locally, right? It's one thing to put out content online, it's another thing to do something locally. Now, this is all geared towards different people, right? The same person isn't going to do all of these different things, but this is something that someone could do if that's what they're interested in, right? If they are a parent, it's a good idea to know the other parents that your kids are hanging out with. Start a parent group. If you're into the Bible, if you're a Christian, start a Bible study group. Really simple. If you're into self-development, start a mastermind. Get together with 3 other guys, talk about your goals, hold each other accountable. Usually guys who are into goals and holding each other accountable are pretty much on the right. Not all of this stuff has to be political, by the way. You can have a hiking group, a weekend hiking group. And then, that builds the kind of group cohesion that, long-term, social organizing comes out of. Same thing, you can do more of an activist cell sort of thing, where you're actually organizing with other people to spread ideas. So it's all sorts of things, and the left does that really well, right? They have their little activist groups. They'll send people out with their fucking little newspapers and their stickers and shit like that. And that goes into my next point, and that is flyering, banner drops, stickering, and other things. So offline, you can spread the message in the real world through a variety of mediums: stickering, stenciling, flyering, banner drops, etc. Keep the message simple and on point to create broad opposition to the modern left elite dark alliance. This is a great way to generate a wider presence and support for a broader movement guided by new right ideas. So again, not everything we do has to be online. There's a great value to working offline, to spreading ideas offline. And it is a great way to get people to platforms that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach, right? You don't know where people are hanging out online, but if they do see a sticker somewhere or a stencil somewhere or they get a flyer, then they might go to a website or they might learn a new idea that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get to them online. So huge, people should be doing this. And it's good to see that groups on the far right are starting to do this more. So if this is what you're inclined to do, I encourage you to do it. Number 6. Ooh, this is my favorite. AMOG leftists and NPCs. Other forms of micro-resistance to the system. You can resist global homo and support the movement, simply in the way that you approach life. Firstly, you can AMOG leftists and NPCs who parrot elite mores, narratives, and talking points, simply by looking down or acting dismissive towards them. You can even be more aggressive by calling out their social cuckoldry or disordered personalities in front of an audience. Remember, politics is largely a spectator sport. Elsewise, make it hard for the system to impose its rules. Create additional costs and headaches for people, institutions, establishments, and everyone who demands compliance around masks, for example. Resist on a million tiny personal and interpersonal levels. So this is telling you simply not to be a fucking cuck in your everyday life. You shouldn't be, oh yes sir, I'll do what you want. You should have a fucking spine, right? And it's telling you to go a little bit further. It's telling you to actually take a stand, AMOG people. If you see a guy walking around with a fucking mask outside like an idiot, why not laugh at him? Why not say something? I understand like the modus operandi of the right is I just want to be left alone, but look how far that's gotten us, right? Sometimes it's time to push back. The left is more than comfortable with calling out, quote unquote, telling people to quote unquote check their privilege and bullshit like that. So it's high time that people on the right start calling out cuckoldry, start calling out faggotry, start calling out the kind of leftist demented mindset that's been possessing people, and that's something that really needs to happen, right? Without that happening, we have nothing. Without people taking a stand in a million different ways, then we have nothing. So we have to kind of lead the change. We have to be the change in this regard. And I encourage you to do that, to take that stand. If you see somebody doing something fucking weird, you don't have to be an asshole, right? You don't have to start a fight, right? Be measured with it. All things at a golden mean, but don't just kind of, okay, whatever. It's fine for you to actually say something. It's fine for you to actually roll your eyes at the very least. It's fine for you to laugh at somebody. It's fine for you to call somebody a cuck to their face. So think about that. Number 7. Get involved in local organizations, campaigns, and institutions. Okay, so we talked about organizing, doing your own organizing, but what about getting involved in things that are already going on? So get involved in existing organizations and institutions. This is part of the long game strategy that we need. By starting small, entering into local politics, professional organization, business and corporate hierarchies, and more, we can gradually accumulate the influence necessary for larger future gains of real political power. Obviously. Okay. So, again, we need to start small. We need to get influence where we can. We need to take up positions of authority where we can. And from there, we can grow larger, right? We're not going to, this is part of the, people kind of hate on Trump, but even if Trump wasn't a shill and a grifter and wasn't whatever he is, even if he was completely on our side, there would be only so much he would be able to do from that position as president, right? Without the kind of support structure, without the broader power in the bureaucracy, in the media, and those sorts of things, the wider kind of state, then you really have nothing. So we need to start small, right? Get involved in those local organizations that exist, parent, teacher organizations and things of that nature, school boards, municipal, county boards, things of this nature, city council. So get involved in local politics, get involved in local organizations, join businesses that you can grow in. And again, from there, you'll be much better situated to aid a growing kind of populist, new right, virtue socialist sort of movement. That is 7 ways that you can help the growing new right movement. Now, I think, like I said, nobody's going to do all of those, not at the same time. But the point is, everyone can do something, right? And if you do have other ideas, there's certainly other things you can do, right? If you know how to code or program, perhaps creating, bots or ways that are easier to interact with social media to spread these ideas. If you could do social media management, all sorts of different things you could do. But if you do have ideas, leave them in the comments below. And, if you do still want to help promote new right ideas, but you don't really have time to do anything, then you could consider donating. And I am going to leave a link in the description where you can donate through cryptocurrency to myself and help support some of the work I'm doing, because I am, like I said, running a couple websites and putting out these podcasts. So consider doing that if you're not going to help in any other way. But I really do encourage you to do one of those above things, right? Do consider getting involved in local organizations or campaigns, institutions, or starting local activist cells, student groups, those sorts of things. Do AMOG leftists, do in real life sort of agitation, spreading of ideas, flyering and banner drops. Those are all great things. If it's something you're inclined to do, something you're in a position to do. Obviously, you want to take security into consideration with something like that too. I'm not really going to go into the details of every one of these now. These, of course, just broad ideas that you can take. But again, sharing media or creating media is a great thing. And also just improving yourself, right? That's a huge thing. And if you enjoyed this podcast, I guess check out the website this came from, the Institute for Virtue Research. And please do me a favor, subscribe if you're not. I hope you are. And leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. And I will catch you next time. Peace.